all this job tree will surely burn. Now you know we're all on a path, and I hope you learn. No, I know.
The power of passion, the power of forgiveness, the power of understanding, the power of now. Living in the now to accept our past life and grow into what our future life has waiting for us. To grow into abundance, to grow with strength, to grow with heart, living with heart every day. Welcome to our group. Welcome to health. Welcome to wellness. Welcome to personal growth. Health, holistic epilepsy awareness for loving, transforming, and healing yourself. The new health in your new life will bring you the light in life for you to grow into an abundance of growth, into a new person, a new being, a new man, a new woman, the ultimate being. Prosper daily through the fuel of forgiveness, the fuel of happiness, the fuel of acceptance, and the fuel of unlimited, boundless potential that you have within your heart by living with heart, connecting the dots of thoughts, and going from the heart to the mind, and eliminating in between the mouth full of excuses. Accept what you've had in your past for what it was, and begin to use it as fuel for what it can be, what it will be, and what you will grow into daily through the power of positivity. Welcome to our group, and welcome to a whole new life.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Doing great.
Hi, how's
Awesome.
everything going?
Good, good. Well, hello, everyone. This is Liz Nicholls from Canada, and this call today is based around epilepsy. And I have two amazing guests today. Super excited about this. We got Stefan and Stacey, and I'm going to turn this over right off the bat to you guys to introduce yourself and tell the audience all about yourself. Who wants to go first?
Stefan, I'll just say hi. We've been on the call before, Stacey. It's a wonderful call I had with you about 2 weeks ago. Been working with epilepsy for a while now, 20 years myself, brain surgery, everything else. But I love that we all connect the dots of thoughts, I call it, and want to hear more about your upcoming book, Stacey, and what's going on in your world to help epileptics and help people out there.
Great. Just for anyone who doesn't know me and didn't hear our first video, I developed epilepsy at the age of 5. I had an ear infection and a little virus going on, and my mother heard some noises in the background. She came in and I was turning blue, my lips were turning blue, and I was in a grand mal seizure. So they rushed me to the hospital, and I was induced in a coma for 4 days. And during that time, they found out that I had encephalitis and it traveled to my brain. And they thought when I came out that I'd either be paraplegic or have severe brain damage. And my parents were devastated. And 4 days later, my father was sitting by my bed. He comes from a Greek island called Chios, and he was thinking about the statue in front of his church, and he was praying to it. And over there, the teardrops go down the statue, and he looked up after he prayed, and there a teardrop rolled from my eye, and I woke up, and he looked at me and he was stunned. But the first thing I asked for was McDonald's French fries, and I didn't end up with brain damage. I wasn't paraplegic, but I did end up with epilepsy, and to this day they cannot find the scar tissue damage that causes my epilepsy. So I take various seizures. I could take from focal seizures to grand mal seizures to complex partial seizures, and life was really, it was a battle. It was like a roller coaster ride. That's the best way to describe it. But I'm here now, and I'm controlled, and I came a long way, and I had a lot of obstacles to endure, but I did it, and I'm here to tell other people and encourage other people that, with help and support from others and changing your lifestyle and doing a lot of other things, that, you could live a healthy, happy, and productive life.
Absolutely. And Stefan, you've got quite the story as well.
Yes, indeed. And that's an area of life. Sorry, is that coming?
There you are.
Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. I was unmuting. And yeah, I mean, the story that we all have, the connection we all have is something that's great because people have a dis-ease in their life and areas that we have to, you said something about alternate, or what I think of is that control alt delete. We've talked about that before because we have this dis-ease and we've all experienced it. And we know what epileptics are going through, especially when you lose your license, when you lose your job, when you lose a relationship, you lose a lot of things in your life because of epilepsy. A lot of people don't understand it. And I love Liz's story in a sense, how much hardship she went through because she had to hold it in like we all have. You don't want to tell anybody. It's really
Right.
hard when you mention, hey, how you doing? Oh, I have epilepsy. And then especially dating or, you know, any relationship that you get into, friendship, friends to you, you have a seizure, you lose friends. It's insane. But, you know, we are here for people now because we've gone
That's not
through
a
it.
true friend.
I know, right? That's a test of the emergency friendship.
I've learned throughout life that it's better to have a handful of good friends than to be a socialite and have a bunch of friends. You know, those true friends are the ones you value and the ones that you can trust. And if you fall back, you know they're going to catch you.
Well, and
Exactly.
yeah, that's so true. I mean, I was 21 and I had a great job, my own apartment. I was going to school. I was partying. I had my own car. Life was great. I'd traveled, you know, gone to university or college. And all of a sudden, one day out of the blue, I have this grand mal seizure, a nasty one. And that was the start of my journey having it. And oh my gosh, you're right. Like you really find out who's your support network, you know?
Oh,
And back,
definitely.
yeah, back then there wasn't a lot of resources at all. So, and I knew nobody,
Hardly any.
no, I knew nobody with epilepsy. And my parents, you know, God bless them, just didn't really want to talk about it and nobody understood it. So it was quite the journey. You're right, Stacey, it's a silent disease. Like people to this day still go, I had no idea because back then I didn't talk about it. I have become very vocal about it
Nobody
now.
talked about it. And like when I received hundreds of letters from people all over the United States and Canada, they talked about their epilepsy. And one thing their families always told them to never tell anybody. Some people said they were cursed, you know, don't say anything. You know, these people grew up thinking that there was something wrong with them, that they, you know, that they had to keep quiet. And this is the environment. When you grow up in an environment and you're told this consistently, this is what you believe and this is what you do, you know. And like you know, I was working for a great TV network. I was getting picked up in a limo, you know, really early in the morning. I was living the life, and then one day I just had a grand mal seizure and I felt the aura and I said, oh shoot. And I was like, I fell to the floor and a producer just walked right over me. And I was like, I wasn't unconscious, so you know, I was alert, but I couldn't move because I was in the seizure. And I saw him step over me, and I said to myself, I can't believe he just stepped over me and didn't try to help me. And then, you know, 30 minutes later, the associate producer came over and said, oh, Stacey, you know, you did such a great job, but I'm sorry, we're going to have to let you go because you just don't meet up to the expectations we're looking for. And I knew that wasn't true. I knew it was because I had the seizure, you know. And you know, that's when it all began. And I wasn't going to let it get me down. And you know, I continued to live my life. And I just, you know, I learned that sometimes things aren't meant to be. And to this day, it really it still bothers me. It still, you know, upsets me. But you know what, you know, I would have took a whole different route in my life if I continued working for a TV network where, you know, I learned, you know, I started working with people with epilepsy and invisible, you know, disabilities and disorders. And, you know, I learned to have compassion and, you know, I learned to look at life differently. So in a sense, I feel like it made me a better person.
I think Liz too, you inspired me by all the stories you've had with the corporate world and people not knowing about it and being so secretive, not telling anybody, because we've all done that. And I had a major seizure at a large coaching company. I won't mention the name, but I was there the same thing. 2 weeks, had a seizure. I just closed a $12,000 deal first 2 weeks. And I was like, this is great. Guess what? They all freaked out and I got my little notice. And it was because they had 30 days to do what they wanted. So it's horrible. So people out there that are hearing this, that's what we want to be here for, is you're not alone. You know, if a lost job, lost relationship, you know, something that's happened, we understand it. And all the side effects of medication, you know, that
Yeah.
just inspires us to help everyone out there.
Yeah, you know, it's I feel really blessed. I was working for a large coaching company up here in Canada, and oh my gosh, that's where I kind of came together with this is what I want to do. I want to help others with epilepsy. I've gone through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and my heart feels like I want to do whatever I can do to help other people with epilepsy have a better life, you know. And so that's why I developed my business, and it feels so right. And, you know, given what we've all been through, and all the judgments and you know, I remember one time somebody said to me, she's a really nice girl, but she has epilepsy.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
Right. So, you know, it's, and again, we're all here to help others with epilepsy. It's, I'm just so excited we've all come together today. So this is great.
Don't let the butts kick your butt. That's what I started saying. But she has epilepsy, but he has seizures. I'm like, don't let the butts kick your butt. Instead, just say,
Yeah.
okay, that's not a good fit. Just like you said, Stacey, it's not everybody that's going to be with us. It's the quality, not quantity.
Exactly.
A lot of youth have that issue today. I would say millennials, nothing. It's basically growing up in a social media society. I have 5,000 friends. I'm cool, but you know,
Yeah.
10% of those are only really people you know, and 10% of that are only true friends. So
Right.
it's 1% in life that we need to stick with.
Well, and the thing that really came clear to me was that, you know, they were always telling me all these things you can't do. And, you know, telling me I can't do something is probably difficult to say to me because
Everything they told me I can't do, I tried to do. Yeah, I was like the little rebel when I was a young kid.
yeah.
Don't dive off a diving board. I'd find the highest diving board and I try to dive off of it. And my mother would be screaming like, Stacey, you know.
I know, and I was like that too. And they're like, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm like, okay. And so as long as it wasn't endangering somebody else, I mean, you know, I was that rebel.
Right.
And so, you know, so one of my things was that, okay, if you're telling me all the things I can't do, what about all the things I can do?
Exactly. Good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
You know, I keep telling people that we could do anything we put our minds to. We just have to have limitations, and people don't like limitations. But with any illness, epilepsy or any illness, you have to construct a lifestyle that's going to be productive for yourself. And you know, everybody has to, you know, learn to live a certain way that's going to complement their life and help them so they can move forward in life. You know, and I always tell people the past is the past. We can't change the past. We have to focus on the present and move on with the future. And we just have to live a specific lifestyle that's going to help us grow as a person. And, you know, a few simple changes in your life, and, you know, you could really make a huge difference in the quality of your life.
We are
Yeah,
doing
I
that.
love.
That's amazing that you say that.
Yeah,
Because
that's
this
so
area
good.
that we're all at, for people to come out of the box, again, I'm going to emphasize this so much because of the COVID, the lockdown, and the book I'm writing is about being locked down for 14 years due to addiction. So epileptics out there, I got a call last night actually from a friend, and he videoed me, and we were talking because he has alcohol issues. He has addiction. He has epilepsy, and he cannot handle what's been going on in his life. So relationships are lost jobs, lost everything. We want to be here for those people. And he said, just by talking to you, I'm very inspired. Thank you for being there. This was like midnight his time, East Coast. He just needed
Yeah.
somebody. That's what I want to do here, is create a group, or all the groups we have, just come together and just let you know you're not alone.
Right. And that's what you know, I'm coming out with a third edition. It's actually coming out, I believe, in about a week and a half. The ebook is out, and the paperback and the hardcover book that is in the process of being published. I took my book, Epilepsy, You're Not Alone, and I had it updated, and we revised it, and I went through it and changed a lot of the stuff. And you know, that was one of the most popular books. It actually hit a bestseller, you know, like a decade ago, because it was like, you know, to teach people you're not alone, because people feel alone. But there are so many millions of people with epilepsy. And, you know, I like like yourself, Stefan, I didn't drive for 15 years. You know, when my seizures weren't controlled, my doctor asked me, Stacey, please, you know, I don't want you driving. We have to get your seizures under control. And for 15 years, I did not drive until they found the right cocktail, the right blend of medications. And you know what, my seizures actually didn't get better until I changed my lifestyle. I just started doing body cleanses. I started taking supplements. I started changing my sleeping habits. I started doing yoga and meditation to cope with my stress. And I started to notice traumatic change in my seizures. They went from like 12 to 9 to 6 to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it was a combination of medication and alternative medicine that actually helped me. And when I spoke with my doctor, he had actually written a book also on alternative medicine, because you can't, you know, many people get mad at their doctors and they're like, well, I'm taking the medication, but my seizures aren't controlled. But what are you doing besides taking the medication? How are you living your life? You know, that is a huge impact. Seizures bring on stress brings on seizures, you know, lots of things can trigger seizures. It's how you take care of your body that plays an impact too on how well your seizures are going to be controlled.
Yeah, you know, I totally agree. I combined the Eastern Western, and I spent a lot of money years ago researching alternative Eastern Western medication, and because I didn't want it to be about me taking all these drugs all the time, because I was taking so many, and the side effects, as we all know, were just horrific. So
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, so I'm totally into the, you know, Eastern Western combined. Find what works for you. And yeah, you're right, Stacey, you're so bang on with everything you said. Stress is a
Some of it
killer.
comes too. The pharmaceutical companies are doing this. I worked for a big company and sold the drugs. So they say, you can take this and you'll feel better. You can take this, you won't, you know, seizures will be controlled, or depression. And everything that I sold, I turned into having those issues, from depression, from high blood pressure, from acid reflux, because I didn't change my lifestyle, right? I
Right.
was just taking the medication and I was still drinking alcohol. I was getting worse. I wasn't changing. So that's a huge part. 80% they say when working out is showing up, right, to the gym. This is
Hmm.
showing up in life and changing your life. I think it's 90, 95%. Eating, drinking water, that's a big thing for me too. Staying hydrated, just little things that we don't recognize, you know, not eating the candy, all the stuff. So I love all your books too. You know, that's going to be awesome for people out there. And let them know too how to get a hold of you and check out your books.
Yeah, because you have that new book coming out. I'm
Yes.
excited. I can't wait for it, right? I can
Yeah,
already
that's
be
coming out. I think I think they want to have it out by June 2nd. It should be out. And it's called Empower Yourself. Don't let your conditions empower you. And I wrote that book because, you know, so many people, give up, you know, and they just, they lack, you know, what happens is that you go through a stage. The first stage is denial. You know, you just don't want to, you accept that you have your condition, you know, like epilepsy. And then the second stage is having to accept it, you know, and then from accepting it, then you have to learn to love yourself. You have to be able to go and look in that mirror and say, I love who I am. And not many people can do that. You know, it's very hard sometimes, you know, because we tend to focus on the flaws and we don't focus on the positive things about ourselves. And a lot of people don't even notice the flaws in us. You know, we notice the flaws. And then, you know, being able to, you know, after to love yourself, and then to be able to work on your self-esteem. Once you work on your self-esteem and you feel good about yourself, that's when the empowerment sets in. And that's when you feel like you could conquer anything you put your mind to. And you know, the strength, the wisdom, the courage, you know, all that ties in. And I talk about that in the book. And I give advice on how to, you know, obtain all these things, because really, if you empower yourself, everybody has the ability to empower ourselves, you know, and the power of positive thinking plays a huge role. I don't think I would have survived if I didn't learn how to be positive. I stopped focusing on the negative and I started focusing on the positive things of life, the things, and having gratitude and being thankful for, you know, a lot of things that I have, you know, that, some people, wish they could have, having a great family, having people who love me around me, people who are willing to accept me for who I am, and so forth. These are things sometimes we take for granted, and we don't realize, how lucky we are. Even nature itself, when you go outside and you have a cup of tea or coffee and you see the flowers and the trees and the beautiful land around us, we take that for granted, and sometimes you go to these third world countries and you see what they have. I say send them there for a month. Then people who complain, send them to a third world country where they're struggling, and then send them back, and they'll have so much more gratitude when they see what they have in front of them.
Absolutely. Hey, so Stacey, how can everybody get a hold of you?
I have a website called staceychillemi.com. That's STACEY, and then my last name, CHILLEMI.com. And I also have the Complete Herbal Guide, and I have epilepsycarecoach.com. And those three websites, I have one for epilepsy coaching, and that's the Epilepsy Care Coach. And staceychillemi.com has a little bit of everything on it. It has my books, it has my, different things that I do, it has articles. And then I have the Complete Herbal Guide, which is about alternative medicine, and it's about natural healing and health, nutrition, and all that other good stuff wrapped into one. And that has like thousands of articles on it, that on every topic you can imagine, that they can click into and learn, different ways they could help themselves naturally.
Oh my gosh, so good. And Stefan, how can people reach out to you?
Well, I'm going to give you a quick analogy. My analogies, I love it, because this high school right here that I come to in Escondido, and I love this park. And when you were talking, Stacey, I'm looking at this beautiful area. Look at this. It's called
beautiful.
Escondido, which means hidden in Spanish, Hidden Valley. And this is a school that we used to call the dropout school when I was in high school. Oh my God, he's going to Valley. It was like Spicoli back in the day. And you look at it though, people have to start over. They're almost, getting kicked out of school completely. And I look at it now and I don't see that. I see it as an opportunity. I see this as a valley, a hidden valley of opportunity. But you have to look at how beautiful it is, because people that go to school and go to life, they kind of look at things in a negative way a lot. We all do that at one time. So just to connect on this, my program is recoveredcoaching.com and also epilepsycoaching.com to find out about my story. But it is reset your mind, reset your life. I saw Liz and I thought of control, how she's controlled everything. I see Stacey as alt, the alternate way of doing things. And me, I'm just delete. Stop focusing on it. Control, alt, delete, reset your mind, reset your life. So check out the information there. And I love working with you ladies. I also have a fourth person I just thought of. She wrote the book, Brain Surgery, What's Your Excuse? So I had brain surgery, what's your excuse? I got to connect with her because we have a little missing corner down here. I think we could have 4 people on here.
That'd
and
be
I'm going to
great.
work at getting more people on here. So just in general, subscribe, like, and share to all of us. And we'd love to help people out there.
Yeah. And, if I think also we should just bring out to people, if they have questions, so many people have questions. I get a lot of questions. They should contact us, and know that we're available. We're not doctors, but we can, for certain questions, if we could answer them and give them, advice from our own experiences, any of our websites and any of our contacts, we should open them up and let people know that we're here to help them. If they have questions, don't be shy. Ask them. I think all of us would be more than willing to try to give the best advice possible that we can give, from our own knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. And my website is womaninmotion.com or liznichols.com. And you can find more information about me there. So you guys, this was awesome. I feel so grateful, blessed, excited, happy, and all the different emotions that we've come together. And it's such important work. And I think there's 50 million people in the world that have epilepsy. I've also seen 65 million, but apparently according to WHO, it's about 50 million. That's a lot of people with epilepsy, and we've got to get this condition going. I remember growing up, people are like, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Don't tell, people, employers, don't do this, don't do that. And I thought, why are we being told not to talk about it when even the three of us combined have so much knowledge, information, experience around it? And the idea that we can help so many other people is just, it's amazing, right? I mean,
A lot of people want to fix it too. That's the problem I think society has is fix it, give them medication, they'll stop, and then people don't stop. That's what the scary thing is. Like, don't talk about it because we can't stop it, we can't control it. She might have a seizure, he might have a seizure. It gets weird in their head and they don't want to talk about it. So more and more as we come out of the box after lockdown, we have to communicate better.
Yeah,
So
and I don't think people realize how many people have it. I think people think that it's a much smaller niche. And the one thing that makes me upset and I get angry about is that you have so much information about diabetes is all over the place. You have so much information about cancer or breast cancer. You have so much information about autism. And autism is related to epilepsy. A lot of people that have epilepsy have autism. There's so many conditions that get so much recognition on the media, but where is epilepsy? Why aren't people talking about it? It's a huge disorder that many people struggle from. And if they don't have epilepsy, a lot of people have experienced at least one seizure in their lifetime. So why aren't we, focusing on the disorder and bringing it? Why aren't people who have the power and have the money and the funds and the grants bringing it out into the media and showing people, more information? And one thing I also notice is when you go on the internet and you type in epilepsy, you get the medical information, the what it is, the treatment, the diagnosis, and so forth. But people need to know how to cope with it. This is where we're lacking. There is very little information on the internet about how to cope with it. And this is why people run to drugs and alcohol. And this is why people go into depression. And this is why suicide occurs, because there's not enough information on how to constructively and productively cope with the disorder. And that's where we are lacking. And that's what a lot of these big corporations and organizations have to get the ball rolling. And they have to get people either to talk about it on the video or write content and explain to people, this is how you cope with it. Here are some suggestions.
Coping with
yeah.
epilepsy.com. I just thought of that. So maybe I'll get that domain. Coping with
You know,
epilepsy.com, helping people.
I want to do a shout out to you, Stefan, for reaching out to me about this, and then you're reaching out to Stacey. I'm just thrilled that the three of us have come together. So thank you, Stefan.
Yes, thank you.
It's all coming together for this reason. I remember, Stacey, I messaged you 2 years ago, right before COVID or during COVID. And I know you don't go on Facebook a lot, but it was like a messenger. And then I kept looking for people with epilepsy again 2 years later. And then we connected. It's just a better timing because, again, it's such a traumatic experience we've all gone through. Everyone in this world can understand what it's like to be locked in your own room.
Oh, yeah.
Just for a month, 3 months. I couldn't handle it. That part, I had to go out and run by myself, be by myself. Everything was by yourself, though. So we want to help people with that, and we can understand.
I felt imprisoned in my own home. When I didn't drive and I couldn't, I had to rely on other people. The best way of explaining it was I felt imprisoned in my own home. And as an independent person, it was tormenting. I think that's why I've written so many books, like I have so many books out because during those 15 years, I just had to, I expressed my emotions and I expressed how I cope with things and I put it on paper to help other people because I knew what they were going through, because I knew there were more people like me that were just going through the same emotions, the same feelings. And like you said, it's just not talked enough about it, in the open.
That's what we're here for. And thanks, Liz. And for everything you're doing as well.
You guys, this was wonderful. We definitely need to continue this on.
Yeah.
And keep the conversations going because there's so much good information out there. Or like Stacey and Stefan, you guys are amazing. Stefan, you've got a bunch of new things coming out too.
Yeah, see, you just point down, the light shines on you. So yeah, everything's coming up.
It looks like a rainbow coming down.
Yeah, see? Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm finishing up the book right now. Just a little bit less left in the last chapter. It's going to be over about 200 pages, it looks like. But thank you 1000.com for being able to turn your FUs to thank yous. And I got a lot of stuff coming out for that. And it's a book on my journey and experiencing my last epileptic seizure, accident, car accident, DUI, divorce, homelessness, everything. So I didn't realize how inspiring I could be to others when people are reaching out to me and they see that, because this old me said, you suck, kept putting me down. And
Yeah.
the old me is who I work with people in coaching now, is just say that old me has to go away. It's exactly what I talked about last night with an epileptic. And he's just like, I'm a loser, I'm this, I'm that. I said, no, you're not. You're
No.
starting over. And he started to see that. He gets it. He goes, I know I'm good. But remember, I just said, get those butts out of your life, kick the butts out of your life.
Yeah.
And he had so many butts last night because, oh yeah, you're right. But, and I was like, okay, we're going to talk later.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, this is awesome. And I look forward to our next call. That's
Yeah.
exciting. And thanks everybody for chiming in and watching, and feel free to reach out to all or any of us, and we're here for you. And thank you, Stacey, and thank you, Stefan, and have a great day. Thanks, you guys.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Bye.